Rabbi say a good chodesh. A good chodesh, chodesh Shvat. Since tonight is chodesh Shvat, I felt it appropriate we should study a sikha that is all about chodesh Shvat.
Beginning. I put the marker in.
Page 38.
Huh?
Page 30. Oh yeah, it's marked. It was going like this.
We know the Torah is in the beginning of Chumash Mishnah Torah. Sefer Mishnah Torah, Chumash Devarim. When did Moshe Rabbeinu start to talk to the Klal Yisrael? To go over the whole journeys which they had, everything which Hashem did to them, all their kvetches and complaints, everything that went on throughout the Mizrach. That's what Moshe. And Moshe goes over mitzvahs, he discusses the Seres HaDibris, the other mitzvahs. It's a review. Mishnah Torah, Mishnah from the same word of Lechem Mishnah. Mishnah mean double. It's a chazara, it's a repeat of the Torah, and he gives them encouragement and musar for the future, what to be careful about. So when did this happen? When did Moshe start to say Mishnah Torah, Chumash Devarim? So the pasuk says in Parshas Devarim, Vayhi bar boyim shana, it was in the 40th year, Ba'ashtei asa chodesh, in the 11th month, Be'echad la'chodesh, in the first of the month. That's Shvat. Shvat is the 11th month, others the 12th month, and Nisan is the first month. Right? This year we have two others. We have 13 months, but the 11th month of the year, we start counting Chadashim months from Nisan. So it was on Reish Chodesh Shvat tonight. We're commemorating the day that Moshe started to give over Chumash Devarim Mishnah Torah.
Moshe Rabbeinu gave over
the whole entire Chumash Devarim started tonight, Reish Chodesh Shvat. The pasuk continues, Hoyel Moshe Be'er es HaTorah Hazois Leimer. Moshe did not just give over the Torah. Be'er es HaTorah Hazois. He explained the Torah. Be'er from the word be'er, explanation. V'amar Razal, Chazal say in Medrash, and Rashi brings it down ala Torah, Huva b'Pirush Rashi, b'Shivim Loshin Pirush Alah. This Chazal says, what was the explanation? It was translated. He translated the Torah to them in the 70 languages. All the languages.
The written Torah.
The written Torah.
Tashbik
Yeah. So the Rebbe asks, Tzarich Bir, we need to understand. B'shvil ma hutzich Moshe ben Lafanish has the Torah l'Yisrael v'shiv Lashon. Why did Klal Yisrael need to hear the Torah in 70 languages? Klal Yisrael understood Lashon Kodesh. They needed to hear it in other languages. What's it necessary to hear in other languages?
But did they know it?
One of the days of the Tainus, Tavis, Sabbath Tavis, one of the reasons is because of the Talmud, they translated the Talmud.
Right, so what's the concept of...
But did they know 70 languages?
We don't say it's celebrating, what?
Did
they
they
know
know?
No,
I talk to you in Spanish. You know what I'm talking about.
Only the Sanhedrin knew. And who knew? Very few people knew all the languages.
So what was the point that he said over in 70 languages?
Exactly. What's the point? We need to understand this. This is a Rashi. Rashi ala Torah. Everyone learns Rashi. It's based on a Medrash. This happened started tonight with Chodesh Shvat. What was this Indian? The 70 languages. So, B'Lavush Kasav, in the Sefer Lavush, the Lavush was a Martcha Yafe, a Talmud of the Ramah, Ramesh Isilis. The Lavush said, the Chashash Ule Einam Kulam Bali Lashon Kodesh. Maybe not all of them are Bali Lashon Kodesh. Maybe not everyone can understand Lashon Kodesh. V'lo hivinuhu kulam. Not everyone understood it. I think it's supposed to be not kulum. It says over here the word kulum. V'inu kulum. It's supposed to be kulam. V'lo hivinu kul. Not all of them understood it.
It says
No, the next line. The next line. Right underneath it. V'lo hivinuhu. It's supposed to be kulam. Devade am rav kazu. For sure, such a great nation. Says the Lava. Shim yoysim ishishim ribi, more than 600,000. 600,000 was just a small amount. 20 to 60 in the men. It was much more. There was millions of people, right?
True.
Yesh bem bali l'shonis harbe. There for sure were many different languages spoken amongst such a great multitude
How
of
come
people.
they all came from
How's that
Mitzrayim?
possible? I
They all came from
understand
Mitzrayim, one language.
Well, we know that there was Erev Rav, where different Gerim, Umas HaOlam, came and joined Klal Yisrael. So maybe they didn't speak Lashon Kodesh. I don't know. Did they know the language, not know the language? Lekach Amar Rashi, Levush explained, Levush has a pirush to explain Rashi al-Torah. Rashi al-Torah itself has a lot of commentaries which made their commentary just to explain him, what Rashi meant to say. Not direct commentaries on the Torah, they were commentaries on Rashi. So Levush explains, Lekach Amar Rashi b'shivim lashon, ki lo yimer kivin shechash Hashem hayesh ben bali shalashonis. Since he was concerned, Moshe, maybe there are other people that speak other languages amongst them. V'adei hutzach l'farash l'mechol hashivim lashonis. The haimine mafkis shema me'oisi lashon shishar shleifarash yesh behem v'hibim levinu. You have to speak all 70, because if you're going to say we're not going to speak one of them, maybe there are people that speak that language and they're not going to. So Moshe went and explained all the languages. This is how the Levush explains Rashi. So the Rebbe, the bottom of the right column, the Pirush needs great understanding. The Moshe Rabbeinu was concerned about this concern that there are people in Klal Yisrael that are not understanding what he's saying. They also can't take Lachem Torah. Why did he wait till now? What happened all along? They didn't know they know the mitzvahs and the dinim until now. Now Moshe is in the last year of his life. Moshe is about to be nifter, right? Zayin Adar. And Moshe is giving over the Torah. Then he suddenly says, "Oh, we need to make sure they understand. We need to open up an art scroll. We need to start explaining what's happening. What happened all these years? We weren't concerned." The says furthermore, Mechipnei chash ulai einam kulam bali lashon hakodesh. Hutzach Moshe tichs kol bnei Yisrael l'shmei pirush kol haTorah l'chutshim lashon. Just because there was a concern, the lashon the Levush is that there were maybe people that did not understand. Therefore, Moshe has to matriach to bother all of Klal Yisrael to hear all 70 languages. It's to call that group aside and give them a private shir. Everyone needs to hear all the 70. It's very strange.
You mean every language? You said the whole Torah?
Yeah. And everyone's standing there?
And listening?
This is a long time, right?
That's not written down.
Torah Shabbat
It's pale pay.
But still.
Today you have on the telephone any language on the wall. You type or you say something, you press, and it translates right away.
Right, so Moshe had to do it by
So
himself.
Moshe had to do it.
Maybe he had the machine. Yeah. One time the Rebbe spoke. It was like I think one of the original Kinus. It was one of the Kinus Hashluchim's International Shluchim Conference, and the Shluchim wrote in a special pan a pidyon asking brachas. They wrote into the Rebbe, and the Rebbe was going then to the oil of his father-in-law. The Rebbe was always humble, and he used to always say how it's not him. The brachas come from his father-in-law, from the previous Rebbe. So the Rebbe took it with him, and he said that there's no. He wrote an answer back on it that there's no time to read all these pidyons that all the shluchim, hundreds of shluchim are giving in the requests, and there's no time to read everything. But he says when you put it into the oil of Frierdiker Rebbe, it's instant. And he said just like a computer, you put the information, the data in, and the computer automatically picks up all the data. And he says even more than a computer.
Yeah.
So you put on the oil with tzaddik, and it's instant, even if he doesn't have time to read it at the oil. But the etzem fact that he brings it there.
So far on Sunday when the Rebbe gave Dallas, they quote 18 languages that the Rebbe speak.
Yeah.
So far, yeah.
18
different languages.
Who is doing the research?
Somebody put a clip. Rebbe speaking English. Rebbe speaking
All together? He put it all.
The recordings.
Rebbe speak different time. 18 so far.
Put it on one video. He put it.
Every language
no,
but
not
in Garen.
Yeah.
Every language is
So how come when
it's a different type of language.
You saw this also?
No.
when I was a chiddush with him, my wife and myself, sitting in the room like for 45 minutes, he asked me what language you want to speak. Because I said, I speak also Arabic. I said, no.
Really?
I told him, אני מדבר גם ערבית. הוא אומר, לא. I never forget that.
Yeshe Kosvu, some say, Shepnei Shara Moshe Rabbeinu al Shalom she saw Yigla Ben Shimon Umay, since Moshe Rabbeinu saw in the future that Klal Yisrael is going to be exiled in Galus amongst the 70 nations of the world. The Fichach Be'er Yisa B'Shivim Lashon Shebe'ezeh Makim she saw Yavayu Yilamdu Ba'ezeh Lashon. So therefore, wherever Klal Yisrael will be, they will be able to learn Torah in that language. This explanation also requires understanding. Since this is not Negeya now, this is something on the future, so the Klal Yisrael that's in the Midbar, the Dair HaMidbar, has to hear all the 70 languages, the entire Torah, when this is only will be Negeya much longer, when the Gullus, they were only taking the Gullus much later. They went to Eretz Yisrael and they had the Mishkan and they had the Beis Hamikdash Shleima for 410 years. And after then was when they were first time they were taken to Galus.
When Hashem balal et sfatam, he messed up his languages. Was all these 70 languages in the time of when
they existed, but
they were there.
But Klal Yisrael knew Lashon Kodesh. When did they go amongst the Ummah Ha'olam? Only after they went and Galus Churban Bayis Rishon. Till then, all Klal Yisrael was together. There was no concept of Galus.
All these people was Jews when Hashem balal sfatam. All were Jews.
No, they weren't Jews. They were before the times of Avraham Avinu.
When they went
The
to
Migdal,
go
that was
Babel, yeah.
But before Avraham Avinu, no Jewish people. But they Noach.
No, but they had all the languages there.
Yeah, they had all the languages.
Changed all the
But they didn't have it in the
there.
Torah. They didn't have it in the Torah.
They
You're right.
Yeah.
Moshe Rabbeinu taught them. Lama Hutza call at Torah Shivim Pa'amim 70 times the entire Torah. Kol Kam B'Lashon HaCheresh. Shiroi Bnei Yisrael Kula majority of Klal Yisrael Leivinu Oisem B'Chadina and all understand these languages. U'Kamayim El Chazal, like Chazal tell us, Sha'afilu Sanhedrin Rak Echad Vidim. And the Masechah Sanhedrin explains that even in the Sanhedrin, not all those that were in the Sanhedrin understood all languages. There were a few. And all they needed to accept witnesses and to hear testimonies. They had to be knowledgeable in other languages. But not all of them knew. There were a few that were experts in languages. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu feel the need? Let's rely in every generation there will be Chachamim that will understand the languages of the countries that Klal Yisrael will be exiled to. They will explain the Torah to Klal Yisrael.
They have to be Meshor Sha'emes.
Huh?
They have to be Meshor Sha'emes.
What do you mean?
When he explained it was explained with the absolute truth.
Right?
Somebody else might not have explained it with the absolute truth.
Okay, true. But the question is, in the end of the day, it's a different generation. That's Torah HaMidbar.
What
Good
language
point.
he spoke to Yitro? Yitro was all over.
Hebrew.
Probably Mitzrayim.
Lavdavki spoke Hebrew. He spoke
The Torah says, "Kam havenu chalechem."
Maybe he translated to him.
No, that's not necessarily that they spoke that language, those words exact. I don't know.
Yisrael was
When
from
Lavan,
Yisrael was from Mitzrayim. He ran away. He probably spoke the same language as Moshe. He grew up in Pharaoh's house.
right.
It says, Moshe Rabbeinu says, who came? It says, your
Ish Mitzri, Tzilam B'yadav.
wife and kid came and this, and he says, Shviga is not here. He said, come to the oil, let's sit down to eat.
Sid Beis. The Shloimer happy Yirbazet. The Shloimer, the Rebbe start launching into a whole explanation of a deeper explanation of what is the concept of Moshe explaining on the Shvei Shvat entire Torah. Yidua Mashakas Ramban. It's well known what the Ramban, Beinu Moshe ben Nachman writes, Oidis Lashon HaKodesh regarding Lashon HaKodesh. Not only the Ramban, others write it, but the Rebbe is going to quote the Ramban, who explains it the best. Shedivrei HaTorah v'Nevuos v'chol divrei Kedusha kulam v'Lashon hu nemu. All the words of Torah and prophecies and all holy things were all said in that special language. Hu haloshin shakadesh baruch hu medaber by. This is the language that Hashem Himself speaks.
Lashon HaKodesh, not the
Lashon HaKodesh. Valpiza, based on this, what is Torah? Torah is Torah's Hashem. It's the Torah of Hashem. Therefore, l'chura, learning Torah should only be done in the holy language. You want to learn Torah? Only in Lashon Kodesh. It's holy. Torah, well, Hashem's language is Torah. The Torah is Hashem's Torah. It should be spoken and learned in Lashon Kodesh. You want to speak about mundane things? Use other languages. You're learning Torah, has a dafka be in Lashon Kodesh.
How we have Zohar? Zohar is not regular Torah.
You would, l'chura, he's saying. L'chura would have to be only Lashon Kodesh. L'piza kima sheyana shel Torah hu Torah's Hashem eshenasan lo Torah l'chein yitzarech is l'chura seemingly should have been liman haTorah b'Lashon haKodesh dafke, which is the Lashon haKodesh Baruch Hu madaber by. So you can speak another language. Not only regarding Torah shebiksav, the written Torah, should this be the case. Shegidru kishma haksav, diyu kois lichos v'yate kishenitna b'pi agvora. Not only the written Torah shebiksav, which is so exact. Torah shebiksav is exact. How many letters and words? Nothing extra, nothing more. V'ad to the point shakriya shebetorah shebiksav, afapi sheini maybe nachshav l'mat. The halacha is. If someone cannot understand Torah, but he reads it, he gets a mitzvah.
In Hebrew.
It's considered learning Torah. You read in Hebrew. You read Lashon HaKodesh.
Lashon HaKodesh, two different things.
If you read Lashon HaKodesh, that's why even someone who does not understand Lashon Kodesh can be called up for an aliyah to the Torah and is allowed to say the brachas on it. How could he say the brachas if he can't read? He doesn't understand what the Baal Korah is saying.
He has to read or
Better to read, but not by listening. Shemea ka'ina. Better to read. Even if you don't understand, read the Baal Korah. Or if you can't read, hear. Shemea ka'ina. How could this be? Because Torah shebiksav is not only about understanding. This is holy. These words are holy. You're saying holy words. This is Hashem's words. You say these words, it's a certain level of limah HaTorah. That's only by Torah shebiksav, not by Torah shebal peh.
Just a question on the side.
Yeah.
In Purim, are you yotzet by
Only in Lashon
reading-
Kodesh.
Only Lashon Kodesh.
If you hear and you don't understand, only Lashon Kodesh.
But you hear.
If you read in other languages, you need to understand.
But it's not Shomea Kakore,
Yeah, you hear it, it's fine.
so you don't have.
If you hear it, it's fine. For sure, when we're discussing Torah Shebiksav, it makes sense that we should dafka read it in Lashon Kodesh and not a translation. And reading a translation of the Torah Shebiksav should l'chura seemingly not constitute limud haTorah, limud Torah Shebiksav, because Torah Shebiksav was given this way, these words, these letters specifically, not more, not less. So you're going to read it in English or Aramaic or another language. Why should that have kedusha to it? Seemingly. Not only that, even regarding commentaries and oral Torah, even when it comes to Torah Shabbat, seemingly the main thing is understanding it. If you read a Gemara and you don't understand what you're saying, it's not learning. It's not like the Sefer Torah you read, the Chomisha Torah, whether you understand or you don't understand, these are holy words. When you read the Gemara, you have to understand. The main thing is understanding. It's not these specific letters. It's understanding what you're talking about. The Gemara, the Mishnais, the Medrash, whatever part of Torah Shabbat is. And if you don't, you're not learning.
You mean the correct interpretation? It has to be the correct translation.
Understanding. You have to
understand Hebrew to get the correct.
But what happens if you read an art scroll? If you understand it, you don't have, even if you
But
didn't.
isn't the translation of Hebrew and the translation from English a little different?
It's always a little different. Never 100%.
But you have to understand what you're saying.
Now,
No, you have to understand the
Mikol Makim still alone, even when it comes to Torah Shabbat Peh, which Torah Shabbat Peh is mainly about understanding. And if you don't understand, you're not Yoitze. Mikol Makim Harihiru Lav Kedibradami. We still know the halacha is that thinking about Torah is not the same as speaking Torah. There are certain values that Dafke speaking Torah has. Dibur. You have to say it with your mouth. You don't say it with your mouth, you're missing certain qualities of limud ha-Torah, even by Torah Shabbat Peh. I mean, it's not only about your understanding. If it was only about your understanding, it wouldn't make a difference whether you speak about it. Just think about it. Why do I have to move my lips? If you move your if there's an inyan to move your lips to Afghan, say it when you're learning the Gemara or the Halacha, whatever it might be, is a raya that it's not only about understanding. There are many dinim which are dafke when you speak divrei Torah. K'moye iser, the page 39, the top of the left column. K'moye iser l'daber v'divrei Torah shu'arim. A person has to be dressed modestly when he's learning Torah. If he's not dressed appropriately, you're not allowed to speak Torah. Are you allowed to think Torah? Thinking Torah is different. Here you're allowed. Dibur not?
Torah Shebe'al Peh is the Nach?
No, after the Nach.
It's after the Nach.
Yeah. Pesak Adam Azokin as well, the halacha that the Alter Rebbe brings down. She'im avarichem birchas ha-Torah hiru b'divrei Torah, or rak al dibur Talmud Torah. That one is only allowed to make the bracha birchas ha-Torah when you speak divrei Torah, but not when you're thinking. In the morning, you wake up, you think you didn't say birchas ha-Torah, you're allowed to think divrei Torah, but you're not allowed to say divrei Torah until you say birchas ha-Torah. By the way, I think the Vilna Gaon held differently. Recollection, even thinking about Torah requires birchas ha-Torah.
It's a mitzvah to think about Torah. It's a mitzvah to
it's a mitzvah to think about Torah. But still, in all, there's an additional aspect of speaking, and according to many svarim, you're not yoytz the mitzvah v'lomadatem oisam unless you speak. There's ve'gisa b'yom v'layla, even if you're just thinking Torah. V'lomadatem oisam, teaching Torah, learning Torah. And teaching Torah is only when you could speak. If you don't speak, you're not yoytz of that mitzvah. So there's different aspects.
Right.
Some things, even by Torah Shabbat Peh, some things taka remain just by the Havana, the understanding. Some things, no, the Torah says they're not applicable, these dinim, unless you actually say it with your mouth.
What's the exact criteria of being dressed modestly?
That's another. I have to go on another topic.
I'm not saying.
I have to look up the dinim to recall. No. There's obviously, yeah. There's more dinim to it, but I have to take a look up to see what's exact dress code.
to be sneers when you learn. You can't wear
Right. He's asking what's the minimum, so you have to take a look up in the
You have to
Shulchan
have proper dress.
Right. Good question. V'kiva shagam Torah Shapeh mi'im Hashem. Torah Shapeh is also from Hashem. It's also Torah Hashem. Mokim loymar. There's also svara to say Hashem v'ged divrei Torah. That when is it considered divrei Torah? Harak al diburim shein beloshan hakadosh baruch hu madar behin loshan hakodesh. There is a svara to say that everything should be learned in loshan kodesh. You're doing something holy. You're learning Torah. Do it in the language that Hashem speaks. Such a svara to say. For sure, by Torah Shabbat and even by Torah Shabbat, we can understand such a concept that it makes sense. And says the Rebbe Eina Chanami, mitzad Torah itself, be'etzem and essence, everything should have been spoken in Lashon Kodesh. The koyach that we have, that we can learn Torah in another language, a foreign language, that's man-made, it's not from Hashem. Hashem did not speak this language. And Afa became, we're yoytze livan ha-Torah, it's considered holy and it's considered Torah, and this Kedusha is only because Moshe Rabbeinu on Rish Chodesh Shvat, and the 40th year, spoke out entire Torah, all the 70 languages. Moshe imbued it with Kedusha. He imbued Torah in other languages.
You knew we were going into the goal.
That's in the Varm, right?
That's the.
When did
Bezu ha'isa pu'ulas Moshe Rabbeinu. Sha'idei shehu pirishas ha'Torah b'shem Moloshem. Chal shem Torah al divrei Torah al namodim ed ibnei Yisrael b'shar l'shonos. Through him speaking it out in all languages, that gave an ability for us to learn Torah in other languages, and it should be constituted a mitzvah, and it should be holy. The Hagam she'ein zeh haloshen shakadosh baruch hu madaber. We top of page 40. Mikol makim chala zeh haged the divrei Torah, v'she'odam meitzi bepiv in yoni Torah. V'loshoynes ha'umais ha'izeh meitzi mepiv divrei Torah, v'also dabem kedim Torah. After Moshe did this, if you will speak the Torah in any language it might be, including in Arabic, right? You're going to speak Torah. It's holy, and it has your yoitza, the mitzvahs, mitzvah l'madata, and it has all the dinim that are applicable to learning Divrei Torah. It constitutes Torah.
When Moshe had time to learn 70 languages, he didn't have time to judge the people. When he told them,
A lot of questions about Moshe, how he was able to do things. This is straight directly from Hashem. He didn't go to university for 20 years, you know?
About 13
But it doesn't say that. Are you better off Chil learning Moshe Rabbeinu? Not even that.
50 cents.
Not even that.
Doesn't talk about that here.
I never heard that somebody should say Moshe
Right,
Rabbeinu.
yeah. The rabbis used to say in Yiddish, the talking Yiddish. Right? Maybe Adarab, Dafke to speak another language. I'll call upon him. So let's just finish off. We'll skip the brackets over here, the bottom of the right column. Vatam shein zen nasi de Moshe min dafku ki kol yoni hatoyre nimsu beisad de Moshe dafke. Moshe kibbutz Torah. Everything. Why does it have to be done through Moshe? Because all the Torah that we have comes from Moshe. This power that we should be able to learn Torah in another language and it should be considered kedusha is only from Moshe Rabbeinu. All these inyanim come from Moshe. And to the point, Chazal tell us that any future chidushim and all future generations that Klal Yisrael will come up with, that Chachamim will come up with, true chidushim, kol masha talmud vasik, also the chadish, hakoyel neman Moshe. It's all given to Moshe Tzin. I mean, it's all originally in the original text. Even Moshe himself did not know it when he said it, but it's in there. If you learn an appropriate Torah, you're revealing what's embedded in the Torah. The Medrash says how Moshe was shown the generations that were going to be in the future, and he saw the generation in Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Akiva was teaching in yeshiva, and he was doirish all the tagin, the crowns, which we don't understand, the crowns on top of the letters in the Sefer Torah. Why do these letters have these crowns, and how many each letter has? Some letters don't have. And Rabbi Akiva found reasons for them. And Moshe felt shvach, he felt weak. Where does he get all this knowledge? I didn't know these things. But suddenly he heard that one of the Talmidim asked Rabbi Akiva a question. And Rabbi Akiva answered him, that's a halacha l'Moshe Messinai. It comes from Moshe then. Felt comfortable, everything in the ending of the day. So Moshe gave over the tagin, he gave over the crowns. So, but future generation discovered what was embedded in them, but it all came from Moshe. So this idea, Moshe, this is a very powerful moment in history. On Rish Chodesh Shvat, tonight, Moshe was imbuing all other languages with the power that it could be kedusha. And when we learn a sefer written in English, and it has no Hebrew words in it, but it's a sefer. It's holy. It has to be treated with respect. It has kedusha to it. That power that a language of choil, a lashon choil, a mundane language, can have kedusha to it. The kedusha of Torah is not something something regular. That's something that Moshe had to give that koyach by speaking out the Torah in each and every language.
You mean Moshe knew Satmer, Lubavitch, Berg, he knows all the chidushim from everybody.
It's all in the Torah. It doesn't mean the Moshe himself.
No, but he made the Achdut when he
the Rambam wasn't around in Moshe's days, right? But everything that the Rambam and all other Chachamim, Talmidei Chachamim that produced true Chidushim means not that they were according to the rules of the Torah were studied and are proven to be true based on the klalim of the Torah. That this is what the Torah actually meant to say. And they revealed it, they brought it to light. It's not really a real Chiddush. It was all embedded in the text. It's in the Torah. Just that it took time to different generations were the right time for these things to be revealed. These wisdoms and these Torahs came out at different appropriate generations of times where these Divrei Torah, these Chidushim came about. So different Tkufos.
But Moshe knew it in his time? Or just it was...
In a very general...
But the potential was there.
Potential was there. That's what we say. Kol Moshe Rabbeinu was in the beginning heard Rabbi Akiva saying he didn't understand. He felt bad.
Didn't know. Yeah.
Are there reasons why it has to come out in certain times?
Yes, every generation
It was specific
to those times that that generation needed it. Hakol Yafa Asa Beitay. Everything of that was appropriate in that time for those. The Maral's Torah was needed for his generation. Every generation
It had a reason.
that was a Torah that was needed to give chayis and enthusiasm and they wished that Klai should be able to withstand the challenges of that generation, that place. Therefore, those Chachamim were bringing out those divrei Torah at that time.
There's a reason.
Now, I want to bring out something even more
So
interesting.
according to you, today, the Chachamim today know more than Moshe Rabbeinu knew.
They do.
They do, you said they do.
It's not only Moshe Rabbeinu, all generations. It's called, the concept is called already, or the Chavaz Das, it's been called Kenanis al Gabe Anak. We are like midgets standing on the shoulders of giants. Today, a person can learn things that he has now. We ourselves are midgets. We're not. Our generation is a midget. We are not giants.
We have the ability.
But because we have all the svarim available from all the previous generations, a person is obviously nowhere on the level of Moshe Rabbeinu at all, and there's nothing to do with him. But so much Torah has been revealed and given into his hands. A person there are new ideas and new chidushim that weren't developed in previous generations. They weren't there. Exactly what Moshe understood, Moshe not. I'm not able to discuss. I don't know. I can't discuss these things. I don't know what exactly it means. What Moshe didn't understand, we didn't understand. But the Torah, the way we have it today, was not the Torah the way it was in the Midbar. Not everything was not the way we have it today.
More things were revealed.
Explain what you mean.
Things were more hidden. The Zoyar, Chassidus, Maral, all the Torah that we have are things that came about through generations. These are not things that were all along. People were studying it. People weren't studying Sifrei Maral before the Maral was around.
They were hidden.
They weren't studying. It was hidden in the text. It wasn't shot that they were.
Maybe he preserved
Leading to
it.
Mashiach.
They didn't have Google to find out stuff.
Right, so leading to Mashiach, all the revelations.
Preserved it.
That's my question.
It's
Some
over
things
half a
definitely are
million
that
Jewish
way.
book.
Some
Half a
things are
million
definitely
Jewish
that way.
book. Only the Torah. Half a million.
Then
Why
there's
don't
certain
take it over
revelations that
Saying there's reasons for
different
it.
tzaddikim have at different
Few
times.
generation.
Huh?
Few
different
generations.
revelations.
Every hour.
Maybe everything has to be
Every hour on the
revealed.
clock,
So
there's a
Mashiach
new
will
Jewish
be
book
revealed.
coming out on the Torah. Every hour. Around the world.
Rabbi, why the Rambam has a schut to say me?
It's like a person saying, you know,
Moshe.
was someone who's a very, very big genius, but he didn't have a library. You have another person who's not as big of a genius, but he happens to have a tremendous library. So he's not as smart, but because he has such access to so many books, he in a way he's smarter than the other person. But it's not his knowledge, not because he's smarter, because he was given such a great library. We were given treasures. We were given treasures. We were given generations of. Now we're holding in history, and we have there, and therefore there are things that we have today that were not around before.
Why was
Obviously, none of us are on the level of those tzaddikim.
why was Rosh Chodesh Shvat chosen for this revelation?
So I think when we go on, it will be more clear because he's going to talk about soon that the whole idea of Mishnah Torah, Chumash Devarim, is a little bit connected to this. Because Papashtos, Hoyel Moshe Be'eretz HaTorah Azois literally means Moshe started to give over the whole Chumash Devarim, the whole Mishnah Torah. Rashi and the Medrash are explaining that it was the 70 languages. The Rebbe later connects the two, that these two ideas that started on Mishchai de Shvat are connected to each other. They're similar ideas.
If you write Shvat with Taf, Shin Bet Taf, Sham Ben Torah.
Say again?
Okay, Siv Gimel.
Yep.
Based on this explanation, we can understand another thing that we find in the Gale of Targum HaTorah B'Shivim Lashon. In regards to the translation of Torah in 70 languages, we find Siva Moshe v'zikni sol sa'am. Moshe commanded them that when they're going to go over the Yarden, Moshe was not going to go over the Jordan. But when you will go over the Yarden, you will set up for yourselves tremendous stones. Because Safta Lavanim is called Dibra HaTorah Zeis Baer Hetev. You write on those stones all the entire Torah, says Moshe, Baer Hetev. It's literally very well explained. Not just written, but explained very well.
Why Dafka stone? Because
Chazal say over there, stone lasts. V'amar Azal, v'huva Pirishashi, Shivim Lashon. Again, Rashi explains over there, what was the idea, what does it mean explaining very clearly? Ber Hetev. He says it's similar to the way we explained in the beginning of Dvarim, Moshe Beyer explain the Torah. Explaining meant explaining in other languages. Besides the fact that Moshe explained the Torah orally, the entire Torah in all languages, he commanded that the Torah should be written in all 70 languages. Why does it have to be written in all 70 languages?
Where's the stones today?
To find them.
Yeah, and how come you wanted to write it if they wouldn't last?
So we have here now two acts of the Shivim Lashon. Moshe spoke it out in Shivim Lashon, and he wrote it in Shivim Lashon. Based on what we explained earlier, Muvan Hatam Sheshnehem Tzarich. Why both of them needed to be. What the Rebbe is about to say is that in order to imbue Kedusha, both in the spoken language of the 70 languages, and as well the written language of the 70 languages, therefore Moshe did it 2 times. Once he spoke it out in all 70 languages, and another time he wrote it in all 70 languages. In order that both of them should have Kedusha. Sai, you're allowed, Sai,
Commanded to do it later on.
commanded to write.
Speak, he himself speak, but wrote, he commanded it.
Correct. But Moshe had to be the one commanding it.
Right.
He gave it the
Why was Moshe the one to command it? Because everything had to be through Moshe. Moshe is the one who gave us entire Torah. There was no other Matan Torah. It says clearly, even when Mashiach will come, there will not be a new Matan Torah. There will never again be a Matan Torah. Even the Torah of Mashiach is all originally embedded in the original Torah that we have. Just is very, very deeply embedded, and none of us can decipher it and take it out until Mashiach will come. When Mashiach will come and say, aha, that's what it meant. And we'll understand a new depth, to the point that the Medrash says that the 7 times that Shlomo Melech says in the beginning of Kehelas, Hevel Havalim, all is naught and nothing, refers to the Torah that we have today compared to the Torah of Mashiach. And then comparatively, the Torah we have today is considered Hevel, nothing, compared to the Torah Shel Mashiach. That's the Lashon. I could look up the source for you, but fascinating medrash. And so it's an incomparatively comparative level, and something we can't fathom. What could it be? But that's in the Torah. So it's not a new Matan Torah. It's all what we're going to see in the original Torah. We all revealed tremendous secrets of the Torah, but all within the original text.
It's there already.
It's all there already.
The data is going to be
It's there, in a way that none of us have the power to take it out. Only we'll wait for Mashiach to bring it out. It says that Mashiach will teach even the Avos, and even Moshe Rabbeinu will sit and listen to Mashiach, because this is a Torah that they haven't heard about. So this is going to be a lot of Chidushim going on.
But it doesn't say Olam Kiminago Noeh. When Mashiach comes, everything will be the same.
The beginning stage.
Huh?
That itself is going to explain also.
It says Torah Chadasha. Mashiach.
Torah Chadasha Meiti Teisi.
It doesn't mean new things. It means new revelations.
Right.
What the Torah says.
Just like a Chiddush. If someone says a Chiddush that wasn't given to Moshe at Sinai, it's not a Chiddush. It's not Torah.
Right.
If it's such a big Chiddush, such an innovative thought, and it doesn't at all, then Moshe didn't have, it wasn't in the original Torah, it's not a Chiddush. Because it's not Torah. Maybe it's a Chiddush, but it's not Chiddush Torah. Now, So Moshe wanted to give the koyach that we should be able to not only speak other languages and it should be considered Torah, but also be able to write books in other languages, and that it should also be holy. So he had to do all 70 languages. The Rambam explains, this is a Mishnah that said that what does it mean, Be'er HaTorah, Be'er Hativ, write down the Torah on these stones. Very well. The Mishnah itself in Soita says it means in all 70 languages. The Rambam explains that Ksiva Hoysa B'Ksivas Kol Umma Me'ilumas, it wasn't written in Hebrew, it wasn't in Hebrew letters and Aleph Beis, but in other languages. Like you could write English with Aleph Beis letters. You could read English in Aleph Beis letters, right? Yeah. Like you could write Hebrew in English letters, right? Some people could write English, write messages, and they write it Hebrew in English letters. Right? You could write Torah, Torah is not English. It's a Hebrew word, we're writing it in English. You're going to write mitzvah. So you can write. So the Rambam explains that it wasn't that it was written in Aleph Beis. No, it was written in Chinese and Arabic. It was written in all other language in their letters. 70 language. That's the Rambam explains.
The Rambam wrote most of his book in
Arabic, right?
Yeah, most of his book.
Transliterated. Yeah, but his Arabic was written in Hebrew letters.
No, we call it translation. Translation.
I saw the manuscripts.
Maybe some of them. I read regular Arabic.
Everything that Rambam wrote in Arabic was Judeo-Arabic.
What we have today, that's what it is. But maybe there were other books that were. He even wrote responsa, shuvas. He wrote responsa. Everything he wrote in Arabic. Besides for his Mishnah Torah, his main work, everything else that Rambam wrote was all in Arabic. He wrote his commentary in the Mishnah all in Arabic. He wanted people to understand.
That's it, yeah.
He wrote Sefer HaMitzvahs to explain all the mitzvahs in the Torah, Arabic. He wrote Shuvais Responsa in Arabic.
Moshe.
He also wrote other works, medicine and math works. That's for sure now.
He was the only
algebra.
He was the only Rab that wrote in his language, or was other Rabbanim before him that wrote in their language?
I don't know.
We don't know. There's nobody.
I don't know if we don't know. If they ask a scholar.
The Gonim, they all wrote in Aramaic. In
Aramaic.
In Spanish.
Is very close to his.
No, but that's the language. That was the language that was spoken in Babel at that time. So this is what, even the Goyim spoke that language.
Nimsa comes out. Shein chiluk bein ha deba ayin loshin pirshalahem, u'b'ksivas ha'toyr bayin loshin. Rakim hoyiz abal peh b'ksav. Alagayim shemadu b'rak b'loshin umis. Irak top of page 41. B'ksav umis. In Shnei the Pirshalahem v'ksiva. Shebeis b'ulas. These were two acts of Moshe. Ha'achas. The first act is Shichal Shem v'ged Torah al Torah lamedus b'lashonis umis. Torah should have. There should be considered Torah. If you learn another language, speak another language, Torah, it should be constitute Torah. Vashen is the second act that Moshe commanded to be done. To write it in other languages, in their alphabet, is Shiyechal Shem Torah Ksava Umis. That even when you write not only in Aleph Beis, other languages, but when you write in other language in their symbols, in their alphabet, it should have Shem of Torah, it should be constitute Torah. Shahasfarim binyani Torah shenichtavu b'ksava umis. The Torah that was written in those languages, Harei Heim Sefer Kodesh. They should be Sefer Kodesh.
Oh, you can't bring them in the bathroom.
Sha'aser Liningba Minim Gzayin. You can't bring them in the bathroom. You can't treat them disrespectfully.
It's interesting that Punk last week, there's a Lubavitcher guy in Chabad, his name is Gindi. He gave to Rosh HaMashiach, Benjamin Netanyahu, 5 Chomoshim written in Arabic. He said, I want 380 Arabics to see the Torah given to Jewish, and everything is Mamash Arabic.
There is no Arabic Torah till now.
First time.
Wait, they don't have Arabic translation?
First time.
Different Arabic.
But
The Rambam in his time didn't do
I'll tell you, I saw this video now.
the Shluchim had years ago the Tanya translated in Morocco.
to Moroccan.
The Moroccan Arabic, and it was the Rebbe sent a special messenger to be. It should be given to the king of Morocco. The Tanya.
Wow.
In Arabic.
It's not regular Arabic. Moroccan Arabic is different.
I know. I read the story.
Well, it was probably each country's a little separate,
Yeah,
different
different
dialect.
dialogue. Yeah, they have one.
They can all
But
understand each other. Everyone can understand each
The
other.
radio and the TV and this is one. It's called forgot what they call it. But if villages or different countries, it's called Meduberet, Arabit Meduberet. I learned Egyptian very well.
Actually, Aramaic is still spoken today. Someone one time showed me a list of all languages in the world, a website that has each
People speak
website, how many
Aramaic?
people speak it, how difficult the language is to master, information about each website, each language. And he showed me how Aramaic, the Lashon, the Gemara, is still spoken by 500,000 people in the world.
Half a million.
Non-Jews. No Jews speak Aramaic.
It's probably not the sound.
Not too many.
That we know.
Maybe there is someone, but half of them or half of the 250,000 are spread around the world. The other 250,000 that speak it are all located in in villages in a region which is like between the countries of maybe Syria, Iraq.
The Kurdim.
Maybe, yeah. Do they according to the ones? And there's areas over here that has nothing to do with the boundaries of countries that they belong to, but there's certain villages and all these where they border. Oh, that whole area, that region, they speak still Aramaic.
Wow.
When I was a young bacher, I was learning in Yeshiva Montreal, and we used to go on Erev Shabbos on Friday. We used to go to do Kidduv and go on Meftzayim. And I went to a certain place, and a guy, I said, "Are you Jewish?" He said, "I'm not Jewish." But he says, "I speak Aramaic." He starts speaking to me, and I sound like he's speaking to me a komporkan. But I couldn't believe it. But it didn't make sense to me. Later on, I said, "I must have been dreaming." Later on, this guy showed me this. He printed me a whole article out, and it's actually rated as the the most difficult language, one of the most difficult language to study today. On the most difficult levels.
Is the Aramaic that we have in the Gemara a little bit different?
So our Gemara, we actually use alphabet Lashon Kodesh alphabets, but the language is not Lashon Kodesh.
Right, is that?
But also, really, Aramaic is very different. It's really mixed together with Lashon Kodesh. It's a lot of big mix. I mean, if you read it, it's a big mix. So it's a lot of words mixed, and they're not going to be able to.
Moshe Rabbeinu did this also.
He did a pure Aramaic.
They have next to the Kotel a group that are Aramaic. Mamash next to the Kotel.
Yeah.
That the whole
Armenians, you mean?
Yeah, but it's Aramaic.
These are the people. That's what
they speak
called?
Aramaic. Yeah.
Interesting. When the Rebbe has to print the Tanya all over the world, so one of them was.
You look in Targum Onkelos. It's straight Aramaic.
Yeah.
In Italy.
How did
So
the language got
translate
lost?
the Tanya to Italy, so who speak Italian so well? So there's a Jewish guy from Israel that went to Italy, became a priest. He wanted to learn to be how to be this. The Rebbe said, take him, and he translated the Tanya to. And he became Batshuva because of it.
Wow. This happened probably a lot of years ago.
Yeah. Now, the Rebbe over here, further on, connects this concept. So like this. This is, up until now, this is the concluding of this Vart, this beer, as to why we find that Klal Yisrael and Der HaMidbar had to hear, Moshe had to give over the Torah in all 70 languages, something which the different explanations that were given to this are not suffice to understand why Moshe would do such a thing. No one needed to hear it in all languages. But the Rebbe is explaining on a deeper level that this was a special act that Moshe did to imbue learning in other languages with the Torah. Because if not, Kedusha. If not for this, Torah would have to be dafka in the language HaKadosh Baruch Hu Medaber B'Ei, like the Ramban says. Dafka in the language that holiness has to be said in the holy words. You're going to say this in another language. You can't be mamshich any hamshachas. You can't draw any light down by saying it any kedusha. Be saying it in a lashon chayil. But by Moshe doing this act, he gave the koyach that wherever Yidden were in any country, any nation they were found themselves, and they studied in other languages. That has kedusha. And as well, the second act that Moshe commanded that they should write the entire Torah in the alphabet of the other languages. Again, all the 70 languages written down was to imbue writing and the writing of Torah in other languages with kedusha, and that there's svarim shav kedusha. Otherwise, something in English shouldn't have any kedusha to it. It's not lashon kodesh. It's very nice. It talks about Torah ideas, but it's not Lashon Kodesh. It has to be the ideas of Torah in the language of Torah. What Moshe did is broke boundaries that now Torah is holy even in other languages.
But to be Yotze, like Shabbat and Mondays and Thursdays.
So then there are inyanim that you have to hear.
Seven Torah written in a different language. It's not Yotze, right?
Right. Actually, it says originally in Chazal that you could write a Sefer Torah in Greek, because Greek can really be a proper the original Greek language was really possible to translate Torah. It was a language you could really translate Torah. But later on, Chazal said that the language already, no one knows the original Greek language anymore. It's not pure, and therefore you can't translate anymore in Greek. So you have to hear the Torah in Lashon Kodesh. But by the way, there are certain parts of the Torah, like let's say even Kriyas and Megillah, reading Megillah, there are certain shittas. If you only know how to understand the Megillah in that language, and you don't have no one else to read it, you can read it in another language also. It's not so pashut. Don't act upon it, but I'm just telling you that if you look in halacha, there's a discussion about it. Now, anyways, definitely there are certain things in Torah which have to be said in Lashon Kodesh. It's clear. Let's say Bikurim have to be brought. Certain psukim have to be said in Lashon Kodesh. There's certain things that Torah in Maseches Soita, these Mishnayos that are discuss which things in the Torah have to be said in Lashon Kodesh, specifically in these languages. Other things don't have. You're yoytze even if you don't say it in Lashon Kodesh. If you don't say yoytze even Shema, you learn from the word Shema. Then whatever language, b'chol lashon she'atei shemeya, you're yoytze kriyas Shema. If you know Shema.
There's so many Jewish people reading Kriyat Shema these days.
If people read davening, right? You daven in English, you're yoytze davening. 100% you're yoytze davening. One thing is you have to read it with your lips and say the words. You say in English, and you could also say the name of Hashem. For some reason, like I think even Art Scroll, they didn't want to, because of the discussions how do you translate Hashem's name. They didn't write Hashem's name. They didn't translate. They wrote it like Elokim, or they wrote Adnai. If you say Adnai, you say Elokim, you're not Yoitze, because you didn't say. You're not actually saying the name of Hashem. So you have to either say the name of Hashem in Hebrew or say it in English. So you have to actually say the translation of the name of Hashem in English. And then you're actually Yoitze Tefillah, you're Yoitze Shmoneh, whatever it is, you're Yoitze.
We had a Bachupa from Brooklyn College over here. He didn't know how to read Hebrew, but he speaks English very, very well. He's saying Shema in English, very loud. It sounds like in church, but
it's very normal. I mean, you're in that.
To him, he wasn't saying the word Shema. He was saying like in English. Like,
yeah, what's wrong? That's beautiful.
Wrong with that?
Yeah.
Come on, it's not, but that's what it sounds like.
Oh, you have the
Jotze.
has a good sound.
Jotze. In English.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Jotze, but that's different.
Just to conclude, the ending, the Rebbe goes on to another inyan, that the Pasha Pshat in this pas Rish Chodesh Shvat. What happened in Rish Chodesh Shvat? That 40th year, and Pasha Pshat in the Torah is that Moshe started to give over the whole Chumash Devarim, the whole Mishnah Torah, where he repeats the Torah and reviews everything. The words Be'er Torah's Hazayis teach us that he did it in 70 languages. So the Rebbe connects the two. The fact that Moshe translated the Torah into 70 languages, and the fact that Moshe now started to say the whole Mishnah Torah connects the two things together. Mishnah Torah and the 70 languages. It's like this. Mishnah Torah, we find that the Gemara says that what's the difference between the first 4 Svarim and the last Sefer? The first 4 Svarim, Epi HaGvura, was directly from Hashem. The last Sefer, Moshe Epi Atzmai. Moshe himself said it. Toisa says, what does that mean he himself said it? He himself said it. It's not Torah. It's not part of the Chemish Chumsha Torah. And anyone who, the Rama writes, anyone who believes that even one letter of the Torah, including the last 8 psukim of Mishnah Torah, the last 8 psukim of the Torah, which is part of Mishnah Torah, that Moshe passed away, were not written by Hashem, were not from Hashem, is a kaifer. So what does it mean Moshe himself said it? So Tais explains it's a different level. It's called Ruach HaKodesh. It's not the same madrega as the 4 things. It's called Ruach HaKodesh. What's the difference between Ruach HaKodesh and we don't really understand these things, but the little explanation that Rebbe explains that the first 4 Sfarim, Moshe was just like a funnel. He didn't have any understanding. He just, whatever went through, Hashem said directly, his mouthpiece is the mouthpiece of Hashem. Whether he understood it, whether it didn't have to go through his brain first. It went straight, directly. The last Sefer, it went first into his Seichel. He understood it and gave it over after he understood it. So that's called Ruach HaKodesh. Yeah. So that's the first 4 Sfarim. Now, still in all, it's all part. This even the 4th Sefer is part of the Chamisha Chumashei Torah, and Nevuah, the Nevi'im, is not the same level anymore. It's not Nevuah is a lower madrega. The rest of Nach of Nevi'im and Ksuvim is not in the same madrega as even Mishnah Torah. Mishnah Torah in the ending is still part of the Chamisha Chumashei Torah. So the Rebbe said, what is this? On Mishchai de Shvat, Moshe started this concept of even something which is not mamash mipi hagvura. It has a status of ruach hakodesh, whatever that means. A Holy Spirit, ruach hakodesh, that also has the same kedusha as Torah. That's really the same idea as what Moshe was doing by a similar idea of saying the Torah in 7 languages, imbuing all other languages with the koyach of Torah, bringing Torah down to the next level. That Torah, something can have kedushas ha-Torah, even if it's not on the level of mamash pi hagvura, even if it's ruach hakodesh, even if going to the step where Torah is in another language. All these things can also be imbued with kedusha and their helik t'svarim and all the dinim of learning them, the same exact dinim as if you said it in lashon hakodesh. A good chodesh.